Charlotte and Sydney just glanced at each other, and it was just that moment of, should we talk, or should we just like go on our separate ways?
I must admit, Miss Hayward, you given a good account of yourself today. I should never have expected you to be so capable.
Because I'm a young woman? Or because up until now you've dismissed me as frivolous?
As a viewer myself, I truly believe this accident was like a page turning, flipping over, and we finally get to see Sydney in a more appreciative way, if that makes sense. He finally lowered his pride, his arrogance, and starting to humble himself in front of Charlotte and to begin to show to her that him be a good man, that he is a good man, a decent man that has respect and care for other people.
Well, a little of both, I dare say. Forgive me.
How can I not? Since I'm equally guilty of dismissing you.
Oh? And what exactly have I done to deserve such condemnation?
It's just a really beautiful unfolding moment of the other side of Sydney that we haven't really seen in him since the very beginning when he first stepped into Sanditon and met Charlotte for the first time.
Well, you always seem so reluctant to help Tom.
Oh, that's hardly fair. I've done all I can for my brother.
Have you?
But she opened up again. She spoke her mind about Sydney giving a hard time to his brother in not helping Tom much in getting attention from other towns, people to come to Sanditon to visit and get the tourism and the economy booming in this town. And Sydney, he's like, I've been trying to do everything. I mean, I'm here. I brought my friends over. It seemed like for Tom and Charlotte, Sydney not helping as much as they expecting him to do. And it's really interesting that Charlotte got into like a little bit too much into the Parker family business. She is only a guest, right? But they have been so welcoming to her, and she feels like she is in another family when she's with the Parker for the summer at the house. So she feels comfortable, and she thinks she has the freedom to say her opinion in the most respectful way.
And if I may, you've hardly proven yourself a sympathetic guardian to Miss Lamb.
Well, a guardian shouldn't need to be sympathetic. My task is to see that she is taught to behave like a lady.
Well, that's the least of it.
With a little respect, if I may, she also told Sydney about Georgiana.
Georgiana is miles from home, and you're the closest thing she has. Now you'll tell me I'm speaking out of turn again, and you do not care a fig what I have to say.
The closest thing to a father. I think the way that Sydney stared at her when she was about to say something like that, but she didn't, it's just kind of like a really impactful moment right there then. And Charlotte couldn't finish her sentence, and Sydney like, go ahead, like say it.
No. I invited your opinion, and actually, for once, I think there is some small value in what you say.
Coming from you, I shall own that as the greatest compliment imaginable.
He actually taken her opinions and her perspective on things, like in this case, Georgiana, and helping Tom with building the town up. And Charlotte was very surprised, and I think she was glad to hear it. She took that as a compliment, and I'm pretty sure she was glad that they are on a positive term now.
Miss Hayward, I've been meaning to say our meeting down at the Cove, so I hope you weren't too embarrassed.
Why should I be embarrassed? I was fully clothed.
The moment of truth. Sydney brought up what happened at the beach the other day, and I was like, was that a good idea or a bad idea? What do you guys think? Let me know. I thought it was great. I think it was very confident and bold for him to talk about it, and I think he wanted to truly have a clean page between Charlotte and himself. So he's like, okay, let's get it out of the way. And the way he said it though, like, I hope you were not embarrassed about what happened. And Charlotte like, hey, we are really talking about this, sorry. And of course she started to blush and got shy a bit and didn't know what to say. And but she really had a great comeback. She was like, I was fully clothed, but you were not. So don't place the embarrassment on me. It was on you, but you were naked.
Yes. Very good point. Well, it was hardly fair of you to ambush me like that.
I can assure you it was not deliberate on my part.
No, mine.
Well then.
Well then. Good day.
I think it's a way of how the universe, how fate played in these two relationships at that beach. And if it didn't happen, right? Like, what if beach incident brought out that playful and flirty side of Charlotte and Sydney to one another, and it's just a fun banter that just happened in the scene.
I cannot believe Sydney is still here. Can't wait for him to leave.
What a turning point, right? In the first half of this episode, I mentioned about Sydney having this too complicated relationship with Charlotte and Georgiana. The way that Charlotte kind of looked away and paused quick in between her sip of her tea. She didn't want to tell Georgiana that she talked to Sydney again, and the last conversation she had with Sydney, it was positive. It was great. They cleaned up the messes that they made in the friendship, and everything is going well now with those two. And she doesn't want to tell Georgiana because she still doesn't like Sydney, and she questioning like why Sydney is still here. Like, I'm still in captivity in this room. Charlotte just pretending that nothing happened with Sydney in the last conversation she had with him.
Well, Miss Hayward, you've arrived at a rather critical juncture.
The British Navy are about to rout the French. You can take charge of the French fleet. We shall call you Admiral Hayward.
Well, which boat is ours?
Red. Uncle Sydney and Henry are the blue boats.
Yes.
Okay, imagine you in Sydney's shoes and you have a slight crush on Charlotte and she coming toward you at this fun activity, and she's very easygoing and very comfortable with your nieces and nephew. I would say that is a bonus point for Sydney. Like, hey, a woman that is really good with kids and play with them and have that true natural mother gift. It's a bonus point, especially if you're looking for a woman to marry and settle down with and have a family with. And the way he looked at her, he just looked up and down at her. He really didn't want her to notice that, but he was definitely checking her out, right? And Charlotte, she started to feel that butterfly feeling ever since that last conversation with Sydney outside of Tom's house. And now here we are and having this fun activity with Sydney, nephew, and nieces. And it's just that possibility of that future family picture that Charlotte might have with Sydney down the road if they do end up together.
Well, come on then. We mustn't let those beastie boys win.
Well, we have to win, because it's a matter of historical record, isn't it, Henry?
Yeah.
Can we not rewrite our history if we find it disagreeable?
Right. Are you ready? On the count of 3. 1, 2...
Am I the only one, or maybe I'm just over-analyzing and not making any sense? But the way that Sydney dropped the sailboat, I felt like he did it on purpose in a way that he allowed the girls' team to win, especially after what Charlotte said about rewriting history.
3! You win!
Our net's going to be stuck in the reef. It's coming to us. No, it's coming back.
What is it?
Something's just occurred to me.
He had picked up on her cues, if that makes sense. The way that Charlotte looked into the scenery of the pond and just in deep thought, Sydney had picked up on that, and he kind of smirked at her a little bit, and he's like, "What are you thinking?" Like, he knows when she is in deep thought, and he always likes to hear what she's thinking about. I just realized that just now. He likes to know what she's up to.
Haywood has an idea. Not a bad one, as it happens.
Is she? Is Charlotte?
I've been thinking about how you want to attract more visitors, and I realised that what Sanditon needs is an event. Something exciting to draw people here.
Charlotte explained to Sydney her idea, and he brought her over to Tom. Nothing really much going on in the scene between the two, except for how Sydney just stood next to her and had his head down and just respected her and allowed her to speak on herself to Tom about the idea that she came up with to help Sanditon.
And once they arrive, of course they will fall in love with the place, just as I have. Anyway, we were playing with the children, sailing their boats down by the river, and suddenly it occurred to me.
It's really nice that the Parkers have Charlotte to help out. I mean, she is only a guest at the house for the summer. She couldn't have not help or get involved in any way, but she really care about Tom and his business and his time and investment in building the town up, and she's willing to help in any way that she can. And she suddenly had this idea, and she's telling him right now. One more thing, I think he also admires the fact that she hears about his family and his brother Tom and what he's doing for the town, and that she's willing to help in any way that she can.
Regatta?
Can you not just picture it, my dear? The river alive with a flotilla of boats, all shapes and sizes. The banks teeming with spectators. The ladies attired in their finest white dresses, the gentlemen in straw hats. Can you not see it, Mary? Is it not a brilliant notion?
Tom is excited, and he's lit up. It's motivated him to keep going and keep trying to get more attention to the town. And Mary's just okay, wow, all of a sudden this happened. Sydney, again, he admired Charlotte. He's like, you're the one that, had this idea, and you're actually really helping us. And I think he's very appreciative of her helping, and of course Tom too.
Positively inspired, my dear.
It must be said that Miss Haywood deserves some credit.
Oh, I merely provided the kernel of the idea. It is Mr. Tom who has brought it to life.
No, Sydney is right. It was you that prompted me to have the idea. You are fast becoming quite invaluable, Charlotte. Whatever would we do without you?
At the end of Mary, I felt like she kind of not like she didn't agree with the idea. I felt like she just just came out of nowhere. I don't really talk about the entire episode and every little detail. I'm mostly focused on Charlotte, but if you watch the episode, there have been some hidden ongoing issue in the marriage of Tom and Mary, and Tom had been so busy with building up Sanditon, and he doesn't really keep Mary in the loop about everything that is going on with the money and the investment in the town. And Tom is struggling. He's like, what else can I do? And with Tom bringing this idea to Mary about the regatta, she's just like, wow, thanks to Charlie, that's great. But like, there's far more concerning thing that I do want to talk to you, my husband, like, about the money and what's truly going on, with the town and the construction. Like, we had the incident. So Mary thinking more than just the regatta. She's like, okay, but what's next after that? Like, will this help us to have that great jump start to tourism and the economy booming in this town and all that? So Mary is just like happy for the idea that Charlie gave, but at the same time, I think there's a lot of things that she worries and thinking about in the back of her mind in this scene.
If you're in London, you could stop by the bank for me. See if they might consider extending.
For God's sake, Tom, it's not as if I don't have my own... How much did you have in mind?
I want to point out the quick glance that he did toward Charlotte. Seeing her playing with his niece, it reminded him of the conversation that they had earlier in this episode about how Sydney not helping Tom enough in the money, the investment in building the town. So he's like, okay, Tom, what do you want me to do, or what do you need from me to help you in this matter? Yeah, he truly confided in Charlotte about Georgiana and helping Tom from that earlier conversation. He takes it to heart, and I think that means a lot in the friendship with one another. He trusts Charlotte's opinions. He respects her opinions, and like he acknowledged her as someone that he can trust and open up with, confide in, but on the other hand, someone that he can be friends with. He does have his friends, Lord Babington and the other one, I forgot his name, but he doesn't really have a friend that he can really open up to like he does to Charlotte, and she is a woman too. And I wonder if Charlotte is like his first female friend that he can truly be himself around with. But yeah, things are heating up between Sydney and Charlotte.
Miss Haywood, I wonder if I might presume to ask a favor.
Of me?
Extraordinary as it might sound, I do believe you're better positioned than almost anyone. Would you keep an eye on Georgiana for me?
Talking about Sydney confiding and trusting in Charlotte, he asked her for a favor, and Charlotte like, oh my goodness, you asking me for help?
See that she's kept out of mischief.
I thought you considered me to be a bad influence.
Well, is it conceivable that we've had each other wrong? Admiral Haywood.
You will see if Charlotte takes this seriously, this responsibility of babysitting Georgiana. She's like, okay, I will do what you asked me to do, but, you know, I heard that I'm a bad influence for Georgiana. And Cindy just like smiled it off. And but more than that, he knows that Charlotte is a good person and she is a good friend, and she's at that close in age with Georgiana in a way that, you know, they have mutual interest in girly things and all that.
How long will you be absent?
At least a week. I have some business matters I have to attend to.
I am sorry. My behaviour has been so wanting. You were right to remove me from London. I will strive to do better.
As will I.
At first, you're probably thinking, alright, Georgiana giving him a heartfelt apology and promise to be a better young woman. On the other hand, after Sydney left, she began to write a letter, and we get to find out that that she has a boyfriend, and I assume that he's in London, and there was a reason why Sydney took her away from London, and something happened in London. So probably that boyfriend, like, is he a good boyfriend, or did something happen in the past with him, or something else happened in London that forced Sydney to take her away from London and move to Sanditon. We will get to find out later on. Her boyfriend is the thing that Sydney took away from her when she was yelling at him in her bedroom before Lady Denham lunch party in her honor. Remember that? She was like, you took me from the one thing I loved, and that's her boyfriend in London. So we will get to know more about him in the next episode, I believe, if I remember right. It's been a while since I watched these episodes. So yeah, something going on with Georgiana. I hope you enjoyed the second half of episode 3. Give a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel. If you haven't done so, I will be doing season 1 and season 2 and season 3 after season 3 airs next year. I can't wait for season 3. If you don't have a YouTube account, you can find me on Twitter. I would love to hear your inputs and reviews on these Sandy Trail episodes. Would love to give a shout out down the road, so you can tweet me. You can write comment down in the section below what you think of this, and I try to keep the comment section open. YouTube tends to block it for no apparent reason, so I try to keep an eye out to make sure that the comment section are open, so you can comment down here or tweet me. Or the third option, if you don't have Twitter or if you don't have YouTube account, I did post my Gmail email on my profile on YouTube. It's under the section about me. You will find my business email, and you can email me your thoughts and your prediction or whatever. I would love to give a shout out, and I will respect your privacy. Just let me know what name or username you want me to use if you do want to comment via email, and I would definitely do a shout out later on this season. Say hi to me. I would love to get to know the Sanditon fans. I met a few, and they're great, and would just love to meet more new people on here. I hope you're having a good day, a good night, wherever you are. Again, I appreciate your support. See you soon. Bye!